let me just go ahead and get this straight, because I know a lot of people gonna just be like, he left the MK community because the game's dying, or he left because X, Y, and Z, bro. But I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, bro. And no, this isn't edited or anything. No, I'm not gonna edit it or anything like that. I'm just gonna keep it real, keep it 100 with you guys. MK for me, yeah, it was a fun time, bro, when we were doing all the leaks and then we were getting all the information, and just leaking every new character back to back to back, right? To me, that stuff was fun, bro. And, at the end of the day, I do know that all good things have to come to an end at some point, bro, but I ain't think it was going to be this soon. But let me keep it real with y'all for like 2 seconds. It was several reasons why I ended up leaving like the MK community. I could have still did the whole gameplay or combo vids. I could have did a whole lot of stuff that pertained to MK, and that was just like MK related, right? But if you guys have been on my channel for like the last couple days, damn, I just missed that. You know that for the last couple of days, I just been playing straight horror games, right? Like nothing but horror games. I ain't been playing anything else, right? Like no MK related content. He's cooked. No MK related content, like none of that, right? And the reason that is because, well, number one, yeah, there 100%. There's nothing for us to talk about, right? As far as like leaked characters and stuff, right? But then again, it was more so NetherRealm Studios, right? And just how they operated these last 2 years. And yes, I'm going to say the last 2 years, y'all, right? Because that's when a lot of the stuff that was going down really was like the trickle down effect of, do I even really want to like join this community? Like when I first started, bro, it was like, do I really want to like make MK vids? And my boys, they was like, do you really want to make like vids for like MK, right? Is that the route that we want to go? I was like, bro, this is the game that, I done loved for like years, right? It's my childhood game. Like this is like literally, as soon as I popped out the womb, bro, I was like MK, It was that type of feel. It was more of an emotional thing than it was anything, y'all. And then when I figured out that, the whole Mk1 was not what people wanted it to be, right? And it was just, I was like, damn, right? I done seen this franchise go from Mk9, which was a beautiful game, by the way. Mk9 was beautiful, bro. I feel like they did everything right in Mk9, right? And then to go from that to MKX and then just flop in MK11 and then flop in Mk1, bro. And then people like, they going in saying like, oh, Injustice, let's be real. Injustice isn't gonna make them what they need to make. So the fact that a lot of people are saying like, okay, well, peeps, you go ahead and make videos for Injustice, right? Let's be real. And I'll even keep it a $150 with you guys with this, right? I made a live stream about a couple weeks ago, about 1 or 2 weeks ago, right? And it was about Injustice, right? It was about Injustice 3. I just wanted to see, how many people was interested in the topic, right? This was before anybody else did it, because I found out that they had an earning call that they were going to make Injustice 3, right? That they were going to work on MK12, right? That's what they were calling in the earnings call, right? For those who think that MK was MK13, right? But yeah, so they thought that, a lot of people thought that this Injustice 3 game was gonna just be like the end all say all after MK1, but at this point, you guys, oh, he's cooked. Yeah, splash. At this point, y'all, it's like, I don't know, because if Injustice 3 flops, right, which is supposed to be the next game that's up for installment, which I think it might be, it might end up being MK12, right? Just because of like the sales and stuff like that. If we're talking like financial, MK is definitely gonna make them the most money, not Injustice. Let's be real for like 2 seconds, right? And with that being said, right, if they make another MK, like that, it's the same feel for me, right? If they make another MK and it flops, you know, where are we gonna be left with, right? Where are we gonna be at with it? Is my thing, right? Like, where does that leave the channel? Like, where does that leave like other people's channels, like Dynasty, like True Underdog? You know what I mean? So I look at it like that from that perspective, right? And I know that there's gonna be like major hype as soon as the game comes out, right? It always is. Anytime MK gets released, anytime NetherRealm Studios drops another fighting game, it's always, you know, gonna be peak. It's gonna be top tier peak no matter what, right? My issue is though, once that peak hits a certain point, right, and people finally get their hands on the game, like how they got their hands on Mk1, right, and it's a complete flop. Where are we going to be at, bro? Like that's my biggest worry, right? And this is me just kind of like talking of the sense of where I see it as far as like patterns, right? Because when I looked at MK11, okay, people have mixed feelings about it, right? Some people like MK11, other people didn't like MK11, right? And then there was some people that were on the fence and they were like, you know what, maybe, maybe not, right? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. MK11 was probably my least favorite MK, bro, if I'm being honest with you, right? It's just with the whole gameplay just feeling so slow and so sluggish, and the way the characters kind of moved, it was so slow paced. It wasn't fast paced at all, right? Like how the older MKs were, right? And so it kind of made the game feel like it was like meant for like casual players. And it was catered to casual players. This was the first time they did that, right? As much as people don't want to admit it. That's what really started the whole, slow gameplay trend for the fighting game for MK, right? And then they tried to do it again in MK1 and it was a complete flop once again, right? And so when you got flop after flop and you're not learning from your mistakes, like what does that leave your audience, right? And I feel bad for like people like Sonic Fox, like Scar, right? When they go and they play in these tournaments, because at this point, like you've dedicated like all of this time into MK, right? And now they're just putting it in the game for like casual based players right now. So now they're catering to casual based players, the kids that haven't played the game, right? That's who they're catering to, not the hardcore fan base that you guys had for years and years to come, right? But now you guys are trying to cater towards new people and it just doesn't work, right? So my thing is this, right? MKX, perfect example, right? Great game. Everybody loved MKX, right? Everybody, whether you were casual, whether you were like a hardcore fan, like everybody loved it. You had great mechanics. There was even sweat mechanics, y'all. Y'all remember when they had sweat mechanics? They don't even have that no more, So it's gotten to the point where it's like they're cutting corners, right? The gameplay shows that you're cutting corners. And it just seems like you're trying to compete with the other fighting games, right? But at the same time, and when I mean by competing, y'all, I mean by like releases and stuff. Like you're trying to compete with releases and stuff, right? And it's not working for you, right? So my thing is this, right? And this is the only way that I'll like even consider coming back, right? Just consider it. But as of right now, I'm more focused on like horror games, right? I'm focused on maybe even making some like 2K content, bro. And just like kind of like speaking my mind on like what's going on inside like the world and stuff, right? Like Kaiser Net literally just made a university, right, which is 100% fake. That I might even just make a video after this about, right? And just do stuff like that. But as far as like MK, dude, my thing is if they don't get it right, dude, and I guess this is the best way to put it, right? If let's say you make a game, right? You make a game and it's a smash hit, right? But then you make 2 more games and those 2 games are flops, right? People are only going to recognize you for what you did, recently, right? So, and that's for like anything, right? That's for YouTube. That's for like that's for anything. That's for games. That's for YouTube, right? That's for just in person personality, work, etc., right? You are only as good as your first couple of games, right? Which was MKX and MK11, They're only as good as those two games, you guys, right? Or I'm sorry, and not MK11 and MK1, right? They're only as good as those two games, right? So if you look at it like that, right, it shows that they are no longer like in the bubble of being a good fighting game. And that's just my opinion, right? You can say that, okay, well, MK1, was good in this aspect and it was good in that aspect. But as far as like gameplay, let's be real. Their older games were way better than the newer ones, right? And that's just my only claim. And it just seems like that they're just so out of touch at this point that there's like literally no point in going back and backtracking, right? Because it's just going to be the same thing that repeats itself, right? The game is good for like a week, and then everybody's going to be upset because the gameplay isn't the way it's supposed to be. And now we have the same issue that we've had in the beginning, right? So I think that, yeah, if they do decide that, hey, we messed up. Sorry, you guys. But let's say they like, okay, yeah, we messed up, what do you guys want to see going forward in the future? I feel like that's a huge step, right? In the right direction, right? And then maybe, I'll consider, okay, let me go ahead and cover X, Y, and Z, right? But as far as anything else goes, oh, he didn't get that. As far as anything else goes, right? That's where everything stands, right? We're not getting any more good games because Warner Brothers is so out of touch, and the microtransactions that they are always putting inside the game are killing the game even more. So it doesn't even go well with the gameplay. And it's just so many issues, bro, that just fall under the lines of what the fuck is this game, But that's just my take on it, bro. I don't know how you guys personally will feel about, the switch on the channel. But as of right now, from what I've seen recently, my last live for MK ended up doing no numbers like whatsoever, right? So I was like, okay, at this point, I guess people aren't really interested in MK at this point, right? Which is valid. I feel it, right? Because everybody is sick at this point. They're sick and tired of seeing, the same old pattern of, okay, oh, there's hype, and then once we get our hands on it, oh, it's dead. Like, we get a character, oh, it's hype, and then once again, it's dead, right? Honestly, I think the most hype that was in this game was the cameos, and that was it, right? But I think the last two MK vids that I did were absolute flops, man, right? And then I ended up starting a new series called Corey, these horror games aren't scary, right? And it seemed like a lot of people loved them, bro. Like, for a start from somebody that hasn't like done anything else on YouTube other than MK, I was actually impressed of the numbers that I end up getting for these live streams, right? So I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think I'm going to just go ahead and just make the full switch to the horror games for live streams, okay? For live streams, right? Now, as far as like videos on YouTube, maybe like gameplay, bro, I don't know. Y'all let me know, either let me know what you guys want to see me do, right? If y'all have another fighting game in mind that you guys want to see or y'all want to cover, which I doubt, right? Because MK fans are 9 times out of 10 hardcore MK fans, right? Like that and that's me too, right? I've got Tekken downloaded. I've got Street Fighter downloaded, right? But nothing really scratches that itch other than like MK. Man, I just got cooked. And I feel like a lot of other people feel that same exact way, right? We just want ourselves a good MK fighting game, but we just can't seem to really get it, right? And we really miss the good old days. So I don't know, bro. I think I might just end up, kind of speaking my mind on a lot of things on this channel until NetherRealm Studios gets their stuff right, bro. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. And that's kind of where I at as far as like the gameplay, leaks, news, et cetera, et cetera, And once again, like I said, bro, I love MK to death, right? But from what it's becoming, like as of right now, dude, it's just like radio silent, bro. Like the love is not there anymore. Like the passion, bro, is like not what it used to be as far as like gameplay, right? But what do you guys think, bro? How do you guys feel about this, man? And once again, I'm definitely open to ideas if you guys want to see other stuff on this channel, bro. But as of right now, this is where I'm at with it, bro. But this is Peaks, man. I love each and every one of you. I just had to go ahead and get this off my chest and just let you guys know what was the real. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourself, and make sure you guys are eating an apple a day, and make sure you guys are drinking a gallon of water a day as well, bro. And I'm out. No, don't score that. All right, bet. Peace.